Hey campers, it's Clarity, and this is Clarity's Pro Tips. Today we're going to make omelets. Yay! So for once I I dressed the part. I have my chef coat on and I'm actually wearing an apron. And today we're going to make omelets. I've made a lot of omelets. Lots and lots of omelets. When I worked on the cruise ship, I was the omelet lady. So every morning I did between, 40 and 60 omelets. Yeah, seriously. That's a lot of omelets. But I've gotten pretty competent at it, and I want to share some of the things I learned by doing that every day. So here we go. So one thing I haven't talked about at all in any of these videos is a mise en place. Your mise en place is basically getting everything ready that you need to cook before you cook. So today our mise en place is going to be a few things. First, of course, we have our pan on the stove. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on kind of a medium-ish heat. You don't want eggs to cook at a very high heat. It just doesn't go well when you do that. So I put that on 4 and we'll see how it goes. Next on the mise en place, I have some canola oil right there. I also have some spinach with the stems cut off. This is a little thing I learned from a lady named Marlene Dean, who was the first lady I cooked for, and it's stuck. I have some cut up mushrooms. I actually bought them cut up in the container at the grocery store. It was the same price. They seemed to keep okay. I went with it. I have a bowl. This is the bowl that I'm going to use to beat my eggs in. I have the fork there to beat the eggs. I have an onion that we're going to dice up to put in there. I also have some shredded mozzarella cheese. I do buy my mozzarella shredded. It's the same price. I get it at the Canadian warehouse store, and because I make a lot of pizza is really what it's all about. So I buy my mozzarella pre-shredded. It's good for quesadillas too, so there's that. Okay, so we have our heat on, we have our pan on the stove. I think first we're gonna go ahead and dice an onion. Let's get to it. Alright, here we are, onion in place. We are going to do a small dice on this onion, and then we're gonna put that in the pan in a little bit. So let's talk about onions. To start onions, what I do is I take the ends off. So you see end and end, right? Gonna take the ends off, and then I cut it along here, and I take the first layer of skin off, and I peel that off, and that leaves you with a nice clean onion. And this is what you want to work with when you're slicing onions. You don't want to work with an onion that has the skin on it to slice it. It just makes a mess. So get all the skin and the stuff off first, and then you'll be happy. All right, let's slice. So what we're going to do today is, oops, hold on. Camera angles count. Okay, with a little magic and help of a bowl here, I think we have a better camera angle. All right, onion. So we talked about cleaning the onion up. So now I'm going to cut it in half. Okay, now there's 2 ways to do this. One is to hold it like this. Put your knife like this. You want to make sure your knife is very good and sharp. And then you're going to slice it, slice it, slice it. Okay. Turn it towards you, and you're going to go down, down. Let me get a better angle at that. Down, 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 down. Okay. And then next, we're just going to go straight down across. Okay. Now, you have this piece left over, right? So this piece, you're just going to go 2 slices across. And then 1, 2, 3. And you have pieces that are about the same size as the other one. Okay. So that's method number 1. Method number 2. Instead of doing this, which a lot of people might not be comfortable with, what you can do is stand your onion up. It's got a nice little stand there, see? All right. And then you can go from this side and go down, down, down. Let's see, maybe a little bit more there. Down. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Down, down, down. Oops, losing a little bit of it. Down, down. Okay. So let's go ahead and chop these guys up and set them aside. All right. And right here. Okay. And then we're going to go across. Cameras. Okay, there we are. All right. So those are your 2 ways to chop an onion. There's more ways. Some people don't like, some people don't like taking the end off that has a little root. I'll show you. So, some people will leave this end on because it kind of holds everything together. I don't do this. I wasn't taught that way. I have a pretty steady hand. I'm confident in my onion chopping, and so I don't do that. But I will do it if I'm using something like a scallion and I really need it like really small, like a, what do you call it? The small dice. Okay, so not mince, but not chiffonade. It'll come to me. But I'll do it for situations like that. But for a basic onion, no, I don't do that. Okay, we have onions. Onions. Yay! Okay, so I think our next step is going to be putting a little bit of oil in the pan. The pan, I'm touching the pan right now. It's a good temperature. It's where I like it to be. So I'm going to take my oil. Okay, and here's the pan. I only want about, I don't know, that much. That's it. That's all I want in oil. Once again, normally I would use my handy dandy silicone brush, which has taken a little walk, so I'm just going to spread that around and let that sit and be happy for a little bit. So now it's time for eggs. We've talked about this before. You always want to crack your egg on a flat surface. The purpose of this is to keep the shell out of whatever your egg is going into, whether it be a bowl or a skillet. So we're going to go ahead and crack this egg and put it into the bowl. So, the camera's on the egg. That's okay. That's okay. All right. So crack egg, flat surface. So it looks like that. Put the thumb in. Let's see. Thumb in nicely. Okay. I think we all know how to crack eggs. Some of us are already cracked, but that's okay. Believe it or not, I still have problems cracking eggs. I've worked in a number of breakfast joints, and I've had issues. What can I say? You know, when you're cracking 100 eggs in the morning to make egg wash, things happen. So, you know, it's always good to kind of remember the best way to do these things. All right, I'm going to put another egg in there, and then we're going to beat it, okay? Hold on. All right, here's our lovely eggs. I have a fork here, and I'm just going to whisk these bad boys up. If you want to, you can also add a little bit of milk to make this a little bit more fluffier. That's perfectly acceptable. I would recommend no more than, say, a teaspoon of milk per egg, if that's what you're going to do. Actually, when I do this in big batches, I like to add half and half and make it really awesome that way. But right now we're just gonna, you know, whisk this up. You don't necessarily need to do this with a whisk. I think a fork works just great for this purpose. And you can rinse it off and then eat with it. Hey. Okay, let's see. How's that looking? Oh, I like that. What I'm looking for when I'm whisking is a fluffiness to it. And you'll feel it in the fork as you do this action. And you can just feel it start to feel lighter and more fluid, I guess is a good word for it. Okay, and there's our egg. All right, I think I'm happy with that. So I'm going to set this aside now. Okay, I think we have a good camera angle finally. So first what we're going to do is we're going to start with our veggies. That's right. So our pan is hot, our oil is in there, and let's throw some onions in, okay? I'm putting in about a a handful worth of onions, maybe about a half a cup, give or take. And I'm going to let that kind of sit and do its thing for a second. I want these to, you know, sweat just a little, not completely sweat, but, you know, get some of the juices in. I like to add one thing in at a time if I can. When I do this on the boat and I'm in a hurry, everything goes in the pan at once and, you know, it all sizzles at once. But today we're going to, you know, go ahead and take our time and let those do their thing. The next thing I think I'm going to add is going to be the mushrooms. Rogue mushroom going crazy. Okay, here's our mushrooms. And I'm gonna, you know, give those a little swirl and let those get happy as well. And then the last thing that I'm gonna add is going to be the spinach. Now, it seems like a lot of spinach maybe, but it's gonna reduce because it troubles when it cooks. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there, and I think I might put a lid on this to help the whole thing along. So there's the spinach. I think I'll get my handy dandy spatula out. Silicone spatulas are awesome. I highly recommend them. This is actually from Walmart, but I think the best ones are always at restaurant supply stores. Whatever you do, unless you know the vendor, do not order your silicone spatulas online. I worked at a place where the guy did that. They looked like they're supposed to look, you know, professional silicone spatulas. The spatula part was silicone. This part was not. And you'd set it down on a pan and it would frickin' melt. So, lesson learned, get your spatulas at reputable places. Alright, let's see. Okay, let's see what's going on there. Whoop. Finish down. Okay, everything's looking kind of nice there. So, I think at this point what I'm going to do is see if I can find an appropriate lid for this specific vessel and put the lid on it just for a second so it, you know, I knew that was going to happen. Alright, there we are. We're going to put a lid on this just for a second to help the spinach wilt is what we want it to do. So there's my lid, and that's going to sit there for not long at all. You know, maybe 30 seconds, give or take. All right, I'm going to stop the camera now, and we're going to go to another scene. Hold on. All right, lid's on. Things are wilting. We're going to let that wilt a little bit more. Okay, time has elapsed. This is right where I want it to be. The greens are wilted, the onions are sweated a little bit, the mushrooms are soaking it all up. Okay, and what's one thing we don't forget to do? We always season our food. So, I'm going to throw just a little bit of gray salt on there. So y'all know how much I love the gray salt. Seriously, my kingdom for a gorilla pod. I'm sure I have one in the basement. I just have to dig to get to it, and we're just not there yet. Okay, omelets. All right, give this a little bit of love. Okay, here we go. We're going to go ahead and pour that in. Now, what I want to do is kind of shake it around a little bit, get it nice and even. Maybe use the spatula to get some of the ingredients evened out. Okay. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to let that set for a couple of seconds and set on the bottom, okay? So here we are. I'm going to switch camera angles again. Okay. So this is set for a couple of seconds, right? And as you can see, there's still some liquid stuff going on in here. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my spatula and lift the sides of the omelet, and I'm going to lift the whole thing up and then tilt the pan, okay, so all of this liquid stuff goes underneath, okay, and I'm going to do that from multiple sides. So I did it from the side towards me, and I'm going to do it from the side away from me, same thing. I'm going to take it away from the edge of the pan, okay, and then I'm going to just tilt it so all of the liquid stuff goes there to the bottom. And this is how you get it from being too wet to flip. Okay. So we're getting close to being able to flip. Now, if your omelet seems to not be moving in the pan when you shake it, like this one is right now, you can add a little bit more oil. It's okay. You don't want to add a ton, just a teeny tiny bit. Usually I would use a squeeze bottle. Today I'm using a measuring cup. I'm just going to put a teeny tiny, like less than half a teaspoon of oil in there. And I'm going to tilt that so it goes underneath. Okay, so let's see how we're doing here. We have, oh, we're almost there. Okay, and this is all about patience. You don't want to rush it. You don't want to flip it too soon. If you flip it too soon, it's going to be a mess. Alright, so, oh, I got a little bit of jiggle action there though when I shook it, which is good. That means the omelet is kind of solid on the bottom there. It's almost there. It's almost ready to flip. So, in the same way that we did when we flipped an egg for an egg over easy, we're going to flip the omelet on this part of the pan, okay? And so you want to get your omelet positioned to kind of this area of the pan, so when you do flip it, you're ready to do that, okay? So I'm going to slide it over the same way that we did when we did the over easy egg, okay? And almost there. And try and get the extra stuff that's on the sides. So, you know, see all this extra business on the sides? You want to kind of get that out of the way, because that's going to hinder your flipping. You don't want to hinder the flipping, okay? Alright, I think we're almost ready. It's just being a little sticky, a little bit of a sticky wicket. Teeny tiny drop of oil. There we are. Get that in there. Okay, I think we're happy. And part of the reason this could be, oh yeah, that's good. Sometimes if you cook it too low, you'll have this problem. So if you are having a problem where it's just not coming together the way you want it to, put your heat up just a teeny tiny bit. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see if we can flip. So same thing as when you flip the over easy egg, you're going to go up and back, okay? Go down and back. People always say that, oh, if I did that, it would end up on the floor. I don't even know how that happens. It's all physics, okay? So, we're going to go ahead and flip this bad boy. Oops, let's try it again. There it is. Okay. There it is. That's your flipped omelet. So, now that it's flipped, you see that it's not brown or anything, which is nice. And it's cooked, which is happy. So, now that it's flipped, I'm going to go ahead and add the cheese. Now, the reason I do this after it's flipped is so You can fold the cheese inside. But sometimes I'll actually do it before the flip, and then the cheese is presented on the outside, which looks amazing when you put it on the plate. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna just give this a little fold. Let's see, fold that dude over. Okay, and we're gonna let the whole guy sit for a second, and then we're gonna flip it again, okay? Alright, here's our omelet. It's looking pretty happy right now. We're gonna go ahead, and this time I'm gonna just use the spatula and give it a little flip. Again, awesome. Okay, there's what it looks like. And I'm gonna give this not too much longer. You don't want your omelets to be dry, it's gross. You want to, what are the words I'm looking for? You want it to be a little bit moist. You just don't want it to be dry. It's not happy that way. Every now and then I get a guest who would want an omelet like that, and I just kind of grin and bear it. But luckily that's not today because I'm my own guest. Alright, I'm going to put this on the plate. And even though it's only for me, I'm going to garnish my plate because I think it looks nice when you make a pretty plate. It makes it feel special, even if it's only for yourself. So I'm going to put some oranges on there, and I think I might even sprinkle some of my special paprika and chili mix onto the oranges because it makes it delicious. Yes, chili and oranges are amazing, in case you didn't know. And this is my special chili paprika mix that I have. I'm just going to throw a little bit there onto the oranges, and now they are all happy. Check that out. Check that out. Oh, yeah, that's a happy orange. You just don't know. In case you didn't know what a happy orange looks like, that's it. Okay, so I think that's it. We made an omelet. What I used to tell my guests on the boats, and you'll hear me say this over and over again. They'll ask, how'd you get so good? It's like, well, I do this every day. And then, well, I wish I could do that. It's like, you know what? You can't. This is what you do. Go to the grocery store. Buy 3 flats of eggs. 3. Get 2 gallons of orange juice. Get 3 bottles of champagne. Okay? Get all the veggies and lovely things that you want in your omelets. Your meats, your bacon, your ham, your onions, bell peppers, mushrooms, spinach, arugula, the cheese, everything you want to put in your omelet. Just get all those things. Make a mise en place. Put it all together. Make it look pretty. Just get a bunch of saucers. You don't have to have bowls. Just put it all on saucers. Okay? Alright. Now, you can't do this until this pandemic thing is over. So this is the hard part. But you can do it for your family if you have a lot of people in your household. What you do is you invite everybody you know over for brunch. You feed them, you make a bunch of potatoes, you give them orange juice and champagne, you set yourself up at your omelet station at your stove, and you have people come and ask you to make their omelets the same way I do on the boat. And you just keep doing it over and over again. And that's how you get good at it, okay? You do it over and over and over again. When my kids were younger and I used to make dinner, we actually used to have omelet night. That was a thing. We would just have omelet night. And, you know, they loved it. It was, hey, it's omelet night. You don't have to have Sunday to have omelets. Omelets can be any time you like. Every night can be omelet night. Every day can be omelet day. If you're motivated enough to get up in the morning before work and make an omelet, you can heat up a tortilla and wrap it in the tortilla, and there's your to-go omelet. It's a thing. Make it your thing. Okay, enough on me preaching about omelets. I'm gonna go sit down and enjoy this little creation I made and think about what we're going to do next on Clarity's Pro Tips. Thanks for watching.